Do you do a lot of these replacements?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anybody who needs it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you get to it. I'm learning something today. Okay.
Hey everybody. Hello. I hope y'all are having a good day. I'm having a good day. I wanted to come on here and talk about two things. So if you can give me a little bit of your time, I promise it will be worth your time. This is going to be a public service announcement that all people can benefit from this video. Even if only one person see this video and learn something, or it reminds them of something, then I've done my job, okay? So in this video, you may have saw the pictures that I put before this video. Let me tell you what happened. On yesterday, I got pulled over by the police, and I had just got through delivering an order. It was about 2:20 in the morning, so 2:20 a.m. Actually, it was today. So I had a good feeling before I accepted this order to just not accept it, go on and go home and go to bed. But I didn't do that. I was like, I'm gonna get this one more order. So I dropped off the order to the customer's house, and I pulled out on the street, and it was a car coming, but he was way back. So I had time. Maybe 5 or 6 cars could have turned out onto the road. So I turned out on the main road, going to the light to get ready to turn left. I saw blue lights come behind me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, why is the police pulling me over? So I pulled into this subdivision on the side of the road. Police came up on the side of me, and he asked me some questions. I answered his questions. He asked me, was anybody else in the car with me? I told him no. He said, ma'am, are you aware? So he was a white cop, a young white cop. Matter of fact, we found out that I'm older than him, because he's only 32 years old. We had a whole conversation. So he said, are you aware that your driver's side brake light is out? I said, no, sir. I said, I did not know that. And he said, okay, well, yeah, it's understandable. Most people don't know when they light go out, especially if they're driving. Now, what I will say is, by me being a driver, I always do a pre-trip, which means every time before I start my shift, I always walk around my car to check my lights, blinkers, brake lights, whatever light, check my tires. So I did that before I started my shift last night, because I worked third shift last night. All my lights were working. So when the cop told me that my brake light was out, that was a shock to me, because it had to have just went out. He said, okay. He said, can I see your driver's license, registration, and insurance? I said, sure. So I give him those 3 things. I didn't look at the documents or anything, because I just know I can produce these documents. So the cop was in the back at his car for a long time. I sat there for at least 20 minutes. So the cop finally, and I started to record because I knew I was going to do a video, but I did not record, because honestly, I was just like, what is going on? Okay. Finally, the cop comes up to my driver's side, and he said, Miss So-and-so, he said, you're aware that your insurance have lapsed? And I said, huh? I'm genuinely shocked. And I'm thinking, the whole time he talking, I'm thinking. He said, yeah, your insurance lapsed on so-and-so, so-and-so. And I said, oh my gosh, like, I'm clutching my pearls. I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, no, sir, I did not know that. He said, that's okay. It just happened within a week or so. I said, okay. He said, well, any reason why you let it lapse? And I said, sir, it was an honest mistake. I've been busy. I don't have my bills on auto pay, and I genuinely forgot. That's the truth. That's the story that it is. I said, but I will get paid. I can assure you that. If you stand here long enough, I can get it paid right now. And he said, now, okay, that's fine. He said, now your tail light, you cannot be driving around with a tail light that's blowed out. I said, I know. And sir, it just went out today. And I was telling him that I did a pre-trip before my shift. And one thing I can say, he was a very nice cop. He said, well, one thing I want to commend you, because your driving record is impeccable. You haven't had a speeding ticket or stop sign ran. So he was commending me on my driving record. Okay. I know y'all probably like, well, what is this video about? I'm going somewhere with this, I promise. Well, and I'm not ashamed of what I'm finna say. Back in 2000, I got in trouble. I caught 2 charges. I was young, dumb, hanging with the wrong crowd, and I got in trouble. I served my probation I got off probation in 2006. Okay. So the cop brought that up. He said, I saw where you got in trouble. Now, this part right here, I don't know what it had to do with what was going on with my traffic stop. So at this point, in my mind, I said, why is he bringing up my past? I was in my early 20s. I'm 45 now. But he brought it up for a reason. For whatever his reason was. Okay. He said, I saw that you, where you got in trouble in 2000. He said, are you still dealing with remnants from that? I said, I'm not sure what you mean, officer. What do you mean? He said, I just want to know, or have you been dealing with remnants from that? I said, no. I said, I paid all my fees, legal fees. I completed my probation. I've had very good jobs. I said, so no, I haven't been dealing with remnants from that. And I said, can I ask you a question? How does that tie in with this traffic stop? And I was calm and nice, respectful. I just had a question, you know. So he said, I just really wanted to see if you had learned your lesson. And I said, absolutely, I did. I said, I have regretted it ever since that day. I said, but I changed my life. I don't roll with those people, and I don't do the things that I used to do. I mind my business. I don't get in trouble. I stay to myself. And he said, you know what? I commend you on that. And I can tell your record shows that you haven't been in trouble. You drive. You don't break the law. You don't do any of that. And he said, you probably are the nicest traffic stop that I've ever had. So at this point, he is paying homage to me and kissing my ass and thanking me for not being irate and rude and cussing him out and all of that stuff. I said, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I said, you just out here trying to do your job. And so we had a little pause in there because at this point, I want to know, okay, how are we going to end this and speed it up and go on our way? I didn't ask that, but I'm wondering, like, are you going to let me go? What are we going to do? He said, I tell you what I'm going to do, Miss So-and-so, so-and-so. He said, I'm not going to write you a ticket for the insurance off of the tail light. He said, I'm just going to give you a warning. He said, the only thing, he said, I don't care what you do with your insurance. He said, because that's something you got to deal with. If you run into the back of somebody, that's going to be on you, your financial responsibility. He said, but the tail light, you got to go get that tail light fixed. He said, I work this area. It's a possibility I may run into you again, and I'm going to want you to have that tail light bulb replaced. I said, brother, you ain't got to worry. As soon as I wake up today, I'm going to fix that tail light because that's just how I roll. I try to get it fixed. So he said, I'm giving you a warning. You don't have to go to court or nothing like that. He said, this is just that I pulled you over. It'll be in the system that I pulled you over. That way if another cop pull you over in another month or 2 months, they'll be like, oh, she got pulled over for financial responsibility and a light law. And they'll be like, okay, did you get it fixed? Blah, blah, blah. So he let me go. He actually shook my hand and thanked me for being a nice citizen. Okay, enough of that. Here's my public service announcement to all races, whether female, male, black, white, Indian, Hispanic. This is to anybody who is going to see this video. Let me tell you something. I have seen so many videos, but I'm especially speaking to black people. I want to make that clear because I have seen so many videos where black people be crashing out, as they call it, going off, cussing the police officer out, trying to kick and fight the police officer. They got to tase them. They got to whoop them. They got to throw them on the ground and throw them in the patrol car. Y'all, please, I'm only saying this because I care. Not to try to tell you what to do, but I'm telling you, it works. So I'm just telling y'all, what I'm trying to tell y'all, it works. Listen, I had 2 violations against me last night. Light law on my car and insurance. He could have very well wrote me a nice ticket. He could have, but he didn't. And he even verbalized that to me. He even told me he was trying to push me to see if I had really learned my lesson from when I was a hothead and acting out in my early 20s. I had never had a cop do me like that, but when he did it, I automatically knew what he was doing. I said, God, he's testing me. But little do he know, I'm not that girl no more. You know, so I'm just telling y'all, when y'all get pulled over by the cops, talking to my black people, I'm talking to everybody, but to black people, y'all, please be respectful. If you know you are riding dirty, just like I was riding dirty, don't try to get smart with the cop because he possibly can let you off. It's to his discretion whether he gonna write you a ticket or take you to jail if it's something bad. This wasn't nothing I could go to jail for, just a ticket. But he could have wrote me a ticket. I don't want to see the videos where y'all are getting yanked out the car, thrown on the ground. You got your kids in the back seat. They screaming and yelling because mommy just got assaulted, or daddy or uncle just got beat up or hit in the head with the thing. You getting tased. That's traumatizing your kids. So I'm asking, don't do that to your kids because that's going to traumatize them for life. Now, another thing before I get out of here, I just want y'all to know, be cool, be calm. Next time you get pulled over, if you know you got some stuff that's out of order, the last thing you want to do is cuss out the police, okay? Remember this is what I do every day I wake up and before I start my car and pull off. The goal is to make it back home safe in one piece. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to go nowhere but home. I want to go. I know y'all want to go to your families, your kids, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever. You want to get back home to whoever. So I'm so thankful that my traffic stop didn't go a different way. And I'm so glad that I got that tail light fixed. I did go ahead and pay my insurance. It was just a simple mistake. And I'm glad it happened. So thank y'all for watching this video. And y'all gonna make good decisions, okay? If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, a subscribe. You can comment, you can email me. If you have had a similar traffic stop like this, let me know. Email me. Let's talk about it. Put it in the comments if you want to.